The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous. Verily, this vicious law's of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it is my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V. And where do the field gatekeepers go? Maybe they're trustworthy after being unable to adequately divide our population, or maybe they'll wander around while overcompensating, constantly trying to prove their skill at separating someone from a goal. Those of us storming academy gates repeatedly state odes to open opportunities under our breath, so we don't begin hypocritically evaluating who among us truly deserves to pass through in pursuit of whatever Shangri-La occupies their long-range view. Thank you. The only beings fearing an apocalypse are those who never rebuilt in the aftermath of a prior one. Should you be nervous? That depends on whether you feel connected to the marble faces lining this palatial gallery, trembling under incoming crescendos of percussive artillery, or whether your spirit aligns with insects crawling over a shattered visage, practicing supreme mindfulness in their focus on their colony, survival, and only what's within their control. Unlike the sad spectacle of seeing a sculpted idol go to pieces and compare its suffering to French revolutionary tyranny after facing criticism for the first time since a career's formative years of humble infancy. Thank you. I once thought all wars ended. They had to, inevitably. Never expecting age's revelation of just how eternally stubborn conflict can be, the way unprocessed battles carry on indefinitely, spiritually even, once curled up physical dimensions collapse, as a graveyard of unfinished scenes left hanging. Panting climbers holding hooks they've dug into walls of a tower whose occupants won't open windows until scaling beings learn polite breathing. Or a hilltop fort, where one warrior, halfway up the slope, waist deep in mud and the bodies of their brethren, fires an infinitely loaded Kalashnikov at fortifications, promising they'll lower the gate once our warrior lowers their weapon and fixes that attitude, though they won't, so long as the belief persists that ceasefires do nothing but invite insidious critical strikes. So they freeze on. Paralyzed tableaus and static standoffs, each driven relentlessly into their present. Thank you. So they ask that you please stop asking questions, since answering aloud makes their corruption a tangible reality they can't stand facing, even though they go and embody it wholeheartedly. I'll forgive an attacker's aggression before I forget their intentions. I'll forgive mistakes, emotionally misplaced words, or unexpected outcomes over sustained attempts at intentionally inflicting pain. Bets made on a target's future irrelevance, allowing assurance for aggressors if they're right. Though, if not, and whoever's been hit recovers fully, escaping from the abyss inexplicably, then you'll see instantaneous changes in an instigator's face, a quick switch from total indifference to sudden warmth, olive branch overtures in blood-stained hands, self-inducing enough amnesia to act like an authentic friend, or unveiling the parade of 10,000 transient personalities quickly forming and rapidly dissolving in a body where the concept of character has yet to come together. Thank you. You can still see his headless body stalking through the night in the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. Now Roland searched the continent for the man who did him in, and he found him in Mombasa in a barroom drinking gin. Roland aimed his Thompson gun, he didn't say a word, but he blew Van Owen's body from there to Johannesburg. The eternal Thompson gunner is still wandering through the night. Now it's 10 years later, and he still keeps up the fight. In Ireland, in Lebanon, in Palestine, and Berkeley, Patty Hearst heard the burst of Roland's Thompson gun and bought it. Thank you. You know, I take data from what I'm told, plus what I see, plug it in, and the equation keeps spitting out incoherent anarchy. I hear how rude it is to tell people they'd look better if they smile, that we should feel our valid feelings, and that forcing a happy disposition is its own oppressive misery. And everyone seems to agree. But I still see the biggest indicator of success in sizable social circles being how constantly you can betray a toy's icy layers of permanent joy. I must have missed the part in Winnie the Pooh where Eeyore eats the right apple, learns shame for his temperament, and then finally attains a state of worth. Perhaps I never unheard a past partner casually proclaim justification for my exclusion at work by saying how lately I had been really depressed. And maybe Batman will appear an even darker, more malevolent creature of the night. If the Joker successfully fills our atmosphere with low enough levels of his laughing gas that everything gets a bit more pleasant. Though not strange enough to actually stop and listen when someone says, wait, something is different. You'd be surprised at how many no longer wish to play Monopoly after I insist on bolting down the board so that flipping it over won't be an option when ambition's inadequacies inevitably arise. Do not lose faith that we will, one day, learn how to harness the awesomely inert energy of black holes light years away to power our progress and functionality. Since, after all, we have plenty of people operating in and assisting society daily, with massive, gaping chasms of silence inside them. The cool side of the pillow is nice. Refreshing even, at first. Although, eventually, I found the other side's higher temperature surface more closely resembling feelings of physical touch between my skin and soft pajamas clothing a warm body once waking up beside me. Thank you so much.